Hi, my name is Chloe Wilmus, and this is my persuasive speech. My topic is on why animal testing should be banned and the ethical alternatives should be used in place of animals. Every day, more than 300,000 animals are killed due to animal testing. This is because animal testing is severely unethical and causes harm to the animals. There are several alternatives that are much more ethical and can even produce more accurate results. About 115 animals can be saved from these harmful practices by switching to these alternatives. I care deeply for all of these animals and cannot imagine the pain they have to endure. If you care for animals like I do, then let's strive to make a change. First, we will discuss what makes animal testing so unethical. Then we will explain the alternatives to animal testing, starting with in vitro testing. Next, we will describe what computer modeling is. And finally, we will talk about how human volunteering can be used in place of animal experimentation. So first, let's start with all the reasons animal testing is unethical. So first of all, it is not accurate. There are several differences between the animal body and the human body. So obviously, drugs are going to react differently for each species. According to the USDA, there were 92 drugs that passed the test in animals. Then when they were tested on humans, they failed, which proves how inaccurate the results are. Animal testing is also very cruel, and the animals have to endure a lot of pain. They are poisoned, shocked, and burned, and in almost all cases, they are offered no pain medication and not put under anesthesia. So I can't even imagine how painful that would be. And even though the animals aren't killed during experimentation, they almost all of them are killed after the test is done. They are also forced to live in really bad living conditions. The cages are really small and dark, so they are not exposed to their natural environment where they can thrive and live the best, which in return shortens their lifespan. There was one study that I looked at that rats were placed in a tiny glass jar and were forced to fight over food to show dominance, and I just can't imagine how uncomfortable living in a tiny glass jar was with multiple other rats. So the first alternative I'm going to talk about is in vitro testing. It involves using organ on chips that replicate human organs so we can test how drugs are going to react when placed onto these little chips. It has been used to treat diphtheria, which with animals, horses were used to treat this by draining very large amounts of their blood, which was very damaging and harmful to the horses. And then the next alternative is computer modeling. Computer modeling replicates the human body similar to the organ on chips and how drugs are going to react to the human body. QSARS is a type of computer modeling that tests how hazardous and toxic drugs are. According to the University of Oxford, computer modeling has been proven to outperform any animal test. And the fourth alternative is using human volunteers. This is ethical because the humans are consenting to being tested on beforehand. And the technique used is called microdosing, so very small amounts of the drug are injected into the human body to see how the body will react to it. Since the dose is so small, it does not cause any harm to the human. Also, using human volunteers, we can do brain imaging. So to study their brain, we can study it down to a single neuron, which is more than we could do with animals. And there are also human patient simulators that medical students can use to study with. Previously, animals were used for this and cut open for them to learn. And now we have these patient simulators that simulate the human body and even bleed just like normal humans so that medical students can learn and practice on them. Animal testing needs to be banned due to the unethicality of it. The alternatives, such as in vitro testing, computer models, and human volunteers, produce much more accurate results and are also much more ethical. First, we discussed why animal testing is unethical. Second, we talked about the alternatives, first starting with in vitro testing. Then we described what computer modeling was. Lastly, we explained why using human volunteers is beneficial. Switching to these alternatives can save up to 115 million animals. Animals do not deserve to live a life of suffering away from what is natural to them. Science can also improve much quicker with these alternatives since they are so much more accurate. Animal testing is just a big waste of time, money, and resources. Accurate and ethical practices can be used using the three alternatives. I hope that you feel inspired to strive towards this amazing change.